Good morning. My sincere thanks to Dr. Vitul Gupta and entire Mapicon team for making me part of this prestigious conference. Today I will be talking about topical steroid misuse in dermatology and in general practice. Topical steroids are main weapon in therapeutic armamentarium of any dermatologist. But at the same time, I can say they are one of the misused modalities of treatment. They are like misguided missile. They can cause immense damage if they are not used properly. In this lecture, I will be discussing how and why the steroids are misused and how we can prevent their misuse. Topical steroids were first used in 1952 by Sulzberg and Witten under the trade name of compound F, which was nothing but hydrocortisone. Halogenation and esterification of basic compound, that is hydrocortisone, led to increase in potency of the steroids. The topical steroids, as I already said, are backbone of dermatotherapeutics, provided they are used judicially and appropriately for the indications they are meant to be used. Coming on to mechanism of action, they have got both direct and indirect effects. Direct effects of steroids are immediate. Indirect effects are via glucocorticoid receptors. Direct effects lead to stabilization of cell and lysosomal membrane. They potentiate vascular response to catecholamines. They reduce vascular smooth muscle sensitivity to histamine and bradykinin. They inhibit mast cell sensitization induced by IgE antibodies. And steroids inhibit release of histamine and other mast cell mediators. Steroids lead to vasoconstriction. In fact, vasoconstriction is used as one of the measures to assess efficacy or strength of steroids. Indirect effects include induction of anti-inflammatory proteins, lipocortins and vasocortins. Lipocortins inhibit phospholipase A2 and it prevents formation of potent inflammatory mediators. Lipocortins also prevent platelet aggravating factors, induce wheel and flare reactions, and leukocyte chemotaxis. Vasocortins decrease vascular permeability. Vascular permeability, as we all know, is one of the important components of any inflammatory process. Then steroids have got anti-inflammatory effect on specific cells involved in inflammation, that is monocytes, lymphocytes, eosinophils, neutrophils, Langerhans cells, etc. Steroids have got anti-proliferative effect on the epidermis. This anti-proliferative effect is due to decrease in keratinocyte mitosis, decrease in stratum corneum granular layer thickness, and decrease in keratinocyte growth factor and melanin production. Similarly, steroids have got anti-proliferative effect on dermis, which can be early atrophy or late atrophy of the dermis. Then, topical steroids are classified based on their strength. They are classified from class 1 to class 7. Class 7 is the least potent. Hydrocortisone belongs to this class. Super potent corticosteroids include clobetasone, halobetasone, and mid-potency steroids are mometasone and betamethasone valproate. Unfortunately, super potent steroids are the most frequently used steroids. Then, there are many dermatoses which are steroid responsive. Here is a list of dermatoses responding to steroids. But here also we should bear in mind that right strength of steroids should be used. That too for a minimum length of time, and they should be tapered to least potent steroid for that condition. Now coming on to misuse of topical corticosteroids. Why there is problem of misuse of topical corticosteroid? One of the most important point is that they are cheap, they are easily available over-the-counter preparations. You can go to any chemist and ask for n number of steroid preparations. Particularly the fixed dose combinations are quite popular. Second, due to their anti-inflammatory properties, they provide symptomatic relief in number of medical conditions. And without physician supervision, potential for side effects of steroids is quite high. I'll show you some cases which had signs of steroid misuse. The first case was 27 years old male resident of Ludhiana. He came to us with complaint of reddish, scaly, itchy rash over groins and lower abdomen for 2 years. There was history of application of potent topical steroids for 2 years. So here you can see presence of well-defined bilateral symmetrical erythematous annular scaly plaques over groins and thighs. Similar lesions are seen over buttocks and adjoining thighs. On examination of the nails, patient had unilateral nail dystrophy, showing thickness of nails, subungual hyperkeratosis, brownish discoloration, and broken nail plates. However, weft spaces were normal. In addition to this patient had multiple linear stria, which were identified by thinned out and wrinkled skin, and these stria were present over abdomen. And patient also had erythematous monomorphic papules over back and upper limbs. There was excessive hair growth over forehead and cheeks. So here you can see presence of multiple stria on the abdomen. Monomorphic papular lesions over arms and upper back, hypertrichosis over forehead and cheeks. On investigations, QH preparation and skin scrapings showed presence of fungal hyphae, which were seen as multiple refractile, branch separate and elongated structures. So this is slide of QH preparation from that particular patient. So he was diagnosed to be a case of tinea cruris et corporis and tinea angum with stria distensae, acneiform eruption and hypertrichosis. The last three conditions were probably steroid induced. The patient was treated with oral and systemic antifungals and antihistamines. Coming on to case number 2, a 65-year-old female. She had reddish itchy rash over groins, abdomen and axilla for last 8 months, and there was history of application of beclomethasone, clobetasone propionate for last 8 months. On examination, erythematous hyperpigmented annular scaly plaques were seen in the axilla, groins, and there was atrophy in the right axilla and hypopigmentation over groins. She was diagnosed to be a case of tinea cruris et corporis with steroid-induced atrophy and hypopigmentation. Treatment was similar to first case, that is topical and systemic antifungals and antihistamines. The third case was a 28 years old male who presented with reddish, itchy rash over trunk and bilateral lower limbs. He was known case of psoriasis vulgaris for last 9 years. There was history of application of potent topical steroids for psoriasis for last 7 years. Most of the times, patient continued to use these steroids without consulting any physician or dermatologist. On examination, he had erythematous scaly plaques with exfoliation and stria over trunk. Here you can see multiple linear stria distensae over abdomen. Close-up of the same patient. So, diagnosis was psoriasis vulgaris with steroid-induced stria. Patient was treated with oral methotrexate and emollients. The next case was 25 years old female who had excessive hair growth over face. There was photosensitivity. Photosensitivity is diagnosed by presence of erythema over the face. and burning sensation over face which are aggravated on exposure to sunlight. She was known case of acne vulgaris for last 7 years. The patient had history of application of topical beclomethasone over face for acne for last 2 years. So here you can see presence of hypertrichosis over chins, cheeks, and patchy hyperpigmentation over entire face. So she was diagnosed to be case of topical steroid damage face, TSDF. The patient was treated with sunscreen, topical calcineurin inhibitors in the form of tacrolimus, and she was advised laser hair reduction by diode laser for her hypertrichosis. The next case again was 37 years old female who had redness over face and itching. There was burning sensation aggravated on exposure to sunlight. She had been applying beclomethasone cream over face for fairness for last 3 months. Here you can see intense erythema with telangiectasias over face. Again, diagnosis is topical steroid damage face, treatment same sunscreen lotion and topical calcineurin inhibitors. Next case was 34 years old female. She had redness and itchy raised lesions over face for last 8 months. And there was history of photosensitivity. History of application of beclomethasone cream was there for last 7 months. On examination, this female had erythematous papules and pustules over the face. She was diagnosed to be a case of steroid-induced rosacea. The patient was treated with oral antibiotics in the form of doxycycline. Topical antibiotics, that is clindamycin gel, was given to her for her treatment of her rosacea. The next case was 52 years old male. He had thinning of skin over groins. There was history of application of potent topical steroids for itching in groins for last 2 years. On examination, this patient had atrophy and telangiectasias over the prepucial skin. In addition to this, there was atrophy and stria present over scrotal skin as well as over thighs, which is quite evident in this photograph. Patient was diagnosed to be a case of steroid-induced atrophy with striate and telangiectasias. He was treated with antihistamines and emollients. Remember, some of these conditions are reversible, some are partly reversible, and others are non-reversible. The last case is case of 30 years old female who had come to us with reddish itchy rash over lips for last 15 days. Patient had soreness of lips. She went to local practitioner for which she was prescribed topical steroids, which she continued to apply without consulting her doctor again. And on examination, she had erythematous scaly plaques around lips. She was diagnosed to be a case of perioral dermatitis, which probably was steroid induced. Patient was treated with oral macrolides and topical antibiotic in the form of fusidic acid. Now, why they are misused we have already discussed. They are easily available over the counter preparation. Moreover, they provide rapid symptomatic relief in most of the dermatosis. The patient will always get some relief from his itching whenever he applies topical steroid. Then our people have got obsession for fair skin, and steroids lead to atrophy, and atrophy invariably is associated with loss of pigmentation. Topical corticosteroids are used due to their potent bleaching action and also their anti-inflammatory activity. So this property of steroids is being exploited by pharmaceutical marketing companies as well as beauticians who, without giving any due consideration to their adverse effects, continue to market them and use them injudicially. Then many of these preparations are marketed under some catchy names that exploit sentiments of Indian people. For example, this is Dr. Gori Gori gel. And in most of the preparations, manufacturers do not mention all the ingredients on packing. And many of these might be containing steroids. How they are misused. They're easily available over the counter. This I have already discussed. Then there is availability of multiple fixed dose combination, which are considered to be broad spectrum preparations. Around 119 formulations containing steroids are available. Out of these, only 27 fixed dose combinations are approved by Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Mostly quacks and some of the local practitioners continue to use them even when they are unsure of the diagnosis. So this leads to irrational prescriptions, and many times patient continues to apply these medications without supervision of their physicians. This is a list of some of the commonly used fixed dose combinations. This is collection of some of the fixed dose combinations from our patients in our department. In fact, market is flooded with many such irrational fixed dose combinations. So this is study showing the common indications for which fixed dose combinations or plain topical corticosteroids are being prescribed. Out of these, dermatophytes or tinea infections top the list. However, you will notice that in the entire list, there are only 2 indications for the use of topical corticosteroids. One is psoriasis, other is dermatitis. So this is study on the commonly prescribed fixed dose combinations. Betnovate N and Betnovate C and GM top the list, followed by Melacare, Lobate, Fluticasone, Mometasone, etc. This is typical prescription of a quack. Here you can see he has given 2 fixed dose combination tubes, plus he has given terbinafine along with itraconazole and last Mahacort, the Raman or systemic steroid. In fact, by initial use of topical corticosteroid, patient is caught in the vicious cycle. Initial topical application of steroids results in some improvement, so there is prolonged use of steroids by the patient, which leads to side effects. And whenever you try to taper off the topical steroid or try to withdraw the steroids, there is a relapse. So patient has been caught in vicious cycle. We have to break this vicious cycle carefully. Now coming on to adverse effects of topical corticosteroids, we have seen some of these side effects in the cases I have discussed. Other side effects are steroid-induced acne, tinea incognito, steroid atrophy, telangiectasia, stria, purpura, ulceration, easy bruisability, infections, steroid addiction, hypertrichosis we have already seen, steroid rebound we have already discussed, tachyphylaxis, perioral dermatitis we have seen, steroid rosacea, hyperpigmentation, hypopigmentation, pseudoscars and granuloma gluteal infantum. This condition is particularly common in children who have diaper dermatitis and they are given topical steroid. This leads to ultimately granuloma formation known as granuloma gluteal infantum. Rarely, use of topical corticosteroid may be responsible for side effects, systemic side effects. This is particularly true when you are using steroids over large surface area. So pediatric population is particularly vulnerable to rare systemic side effects of topical steroids. So these include ocular side effects, endocrinological, metabolic and electrolyte disturbances. So these are different studies showing side effects of topically misused steroids. In one study, tinea incognita was the most common, whereas another study showed acne at the top of the list. However, the other side effects were common in both the studies. Now I'll show you some of the photographs of side effects of topically applied steroids. So these are photographs of tinea incognita. Tinea incognita is tinea modified by the application of topical corticosteroids. Stria we have already seen in earlier photographs as well. The photograph on your left shows skin atrophy along with ecchymosis and purpuric spots. On the right, patient is having skin atrophy. Photograph of patient of hypertrichosis induced by use of topical steroids. Here you can see steroid-induced telangiectasias, steroid-induced rosacea. We have already seen one case of steroid-induced rosacea. This is another patient of steroid-induced rosacea. Acneiform eruption. Acneiform eruption due to steroid is quite easy to differentiate from acne vulgaris. Acneiform eruption is monomorphic. It contains only the papules. There are no comedones. So it is non-comedogenic acne which is induced by prolonged use of topical steroids. Steroid-induced hypopigmentation in the groins and on feet. Now, the main point is what we can do to control and prevent steroid misuse. General measures to prevent topical steroid-induced side effects are that even in steroid-responsive dermatosis, we should try to achieve initial control by potent topical steroids. Then we should continue with less potent or weakest effective steroid after sufficient response has been achieved. And if patient requires maintenance steroids, we can maintain him by reducing the frequency of application. We can use steroids on alternate days or at the weekend. Taper treatment on complete healing. We should be extra cautious in treating children and elderly because these two groups have thin skin, so chances of systemic absorption are more. And areas of the body where skin is thin, like scrotum, flexural area, periorbital areas, we should always use low potency, non-fluorinated steroids. This is an initiative by Indian Association of Dermatology, Venereology and Leprology. They have come out with pamphlets on patient education regarding the side effects of self-application of steroid creams. So, the take-home message regarding prevention of side effects of topical steroids is we should use steroids only after right diagnosis. We should use steroids only when we are certain that the condition is steroid responsive. We should use right potency of steroid. Some conditions will respond to weakest possible steroids. We should use hydrocortisone in them. Right formulation for right duration should always be used. And your dermatologists are always there whenever you are in doubt. So you can refer your patients to a dermatologist. Thank you very much. Thank you for patience listening.